live now. Just took a very long
shit.
time. Are we? Because I still don't see the stream.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Are we live?
Well, it's now saying at least end stream, so we might be
Starting.
live.
It says starting. Yeah.
Okay, so are we live or not? I actually don't know, because I have a link for to check it myself.
It says stream health low, red, video output low. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth. This with YouTube again tonight.
I
We'll be right.
think we're live now, Wimpy. So I don't know if you can check it yourself, but anyway, if we finally are alive, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to San Marino and the GP track of Imola, where we have the 9th round of 2SRL Assetto Corsa GT3 series, and we actually thought that we were live for a few moments there, but we apparently were not. Anyway, joining me in the comms booth today is Wimpy. Hello, Wimpy.
Hello, sir. Good to be back with the guy, Mr. Icewind from Finland, the Iceman. Good to be back with you on stream, man. It's a privilege and honor
Yeah.
sharing the commentary panel with.
And yeah,
the
I think
Iceman.
we actually are live now finally. So.
Hello.
All right. So let's get our bearings here then. So we have about 6 minutes left in the qualifying session, and at the moment the fastest lap of the session is Hugo with a 1:43.8, which I think if I looked correctly in the practice lap stats, that's a pretty good lap. So yeah, that's pretty much almost the fastest lap of the entire server so far. So yeah, I think that's a good lap.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'm just.
And we're coming, and Hugo actually, who is leading this session so far, is also leading the championship with a pretty commanding lead. He's 52 points or 50 points in the clear of Mr. Thimo, who is also racing here today, and he's actually in P2. So incidentally, the top two are also the top two in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, we got Thimo on track. Seems like he's on an outlap.
Yep. That's what it looks like. We're following him as well.
Love the new look with the BMWs riding all black with the German colors coming through strongly.
Yep.
So yeah.
And I think this
Quite
is
a
the
catch
first
for the
time Thimo is running this new livery, so maybe that's gonna find him some pace today. So Thimo.
Yeah, man, is the hot favorite for the championship.
So we're just gonna have a sneak peek here on the stream to Mr. Terry Incognita, who is Thimo's teammate, who is actually on a hot lap here. He's 3/10 up, and he's running a much lighter livery with the white team. And this was actually what Thimo's car looked like before as well, but he's updated a bit for this race. Maybe just to you know, wake himself up a bit for the latter half of this championship to maybe challenge Hugo still for the title here.
Also another guy that we need to look out for is of course Mr. Tipsy Bob.
Yeah.
Apparently was fastest in the practice session about a half an hour ago. So.
Yeah, and I think that was a 43.8 as well. So.
Yeah.
It's about. I would expect Tipsy to be up there. He's Is he third at the moment? Because I'm not really sure about my standings.
Yeah, Tipsy Bob's currently third. Yeah, he's about 7/10 off pole position time.
My ACTV doesn't show him at all, but I've got the other the Assetto Corsa's own app here on the side, and there I see
like
Tipsy. So.
He's on an outlap as I'm not picking up any info from him. Oh no, actually he is actually on a qualifying. He's very close to his current time. He's about almost 2/10 now.
Yep. Tipsy coming across the line, and he goes P2 with 44.3. So Tipsy up to P2.
Only 4/10 away from P1. So yeah.
Yep. And we know that Tipsy Bob in the practice managed the 43.8, so he still has some time in the bag. He's pitted quickly and headed out again because he wants to do another lap. And see what we can pick up here. Mr. Cursed at least starts a lap here, and he's immediately a 10th up through the first chicane. So let's follow Cursed here for a little bit, who is my personal favorite for this race, for any Assetto Corsa race, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know I'm supposed to be
Ferraris are
impartial as a
really
commentator,
fighting
but
yeah.
who doesn't like Cursed?
Yeah. But the track that they're racing on is an absolutely beautiful track.
Yep.
It's obviously it's got a big memory to the racing as a big icon from Formula One. Mr. Ayrton Senna died here sadly in 1994 on the 1st of May, which they put in the fast chicane on that actual corner where he died. So for the safety of the drivers. But
Yep.
yeah, it brings back memories. But it's something that you'll never forget as a racer or a racing fan.
Yeah, most definitely not. But I've driven a lot on this track, and it is of course as Wimpy stated already, it's an old F1 track as well. This is a little bit of a different configuration, I think, to the old GP track that they drove, because they had a chicane at the pit entry in the
Yes.
F1 layout, but at the moment in this layout it's just a flat out corner there. So
Hugo's going even faster on his outlap. He's 4 thousandths of a second faster over the line. So he, he goes slightly faster.
yeah,
Still keeps on the P1.
yeah. Cursed was unable to improve, I think, so he stays 7th. Let's see what else we can pick up. Is there still somebody? Mr. Deadpixel?
Timo is on the lap.
Okay, so we'll.
He's actually up on his time.
Yep.
3 thousandths of a second faster.
So Thimo is gonna improve, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to overtake Tipsy Bob. Nope. So Thimo stays behind Tipsy by about a 10th.
Yeah. NJJ is for me quite a surprise package.
He's
being right up in the top 4
and he's
in the Audi.
actually ahead of Terror Incognita, who is on a lap, but looks like Terror is not improving on this lap. He's 4 tenths down, so that is a bit of a surprise to me to see NJJ up there.
Let's follow him around. He's just started his lap.
Okay. And he is up on his time as well, so
yeah.
NJJ probably the last guy actually to start lap here. Runs a little bit wide on the marbles there, and we see some dust picking up from the ground.
Nice you can see how hard he's pushing on the behavior of the car through the corners. He's really pushing it. He's pretty much equal on his time at the moment.
Yep.
There's about 10th or so on that corner.
And I really like the look and sound of this Audi.
Oh, it's an absolute gorgeous sound.
It's right on board for a little bit with him. JJ tackles the left-hander before Aqua Minerali. This is the corner that we're approaching, so this is a very difficult braking zone. You brake downhill and then throw it uphill to the right. So the car, the rear goes light, and it's very difficult to drive through there. NJJ is up on his time, but I don't think it's enough to jump him anywhere. So he will most likely stay 4th for this session.
Yep.
And Tipsy Bob actually has improved his time. He's a 10th of pole, so Tipsy stays 2nd, but very close to Hugo.
It's gonna be a very interesting race if he can manage to hang on to the back of that Ferrari.
Oh, and NJJ just runs a little wide in the final corner.
He's just turning away all on the last corner, but like you said, it wouldn't have given him any.
Yeah, he would have needed like
improvement on the position.
7 tenths to get anywhere up, so yep.
So that is qualifying.
And we are gonna start the race. I'll have to remember to retire my car after we're
yeah.
done the first 3 corners. I'll stay on track to watch the start with you guys, so see if we can find some less crappy camera angle. Well, we'll see. Very good, but okay. I guess this is good enough.
Count on time of 30 seconds to start.
Yep. And as opposed to 5 lights in F1, we're gonna get 6 lights here, if I remember correctly. So we're about to see that, I guess.
I've got a camera on Mr. Bob. I would love to see some move in turn 1.
Yep. And Mr. Bob actually sent me a message that he has gone faster than Hugo's pole time before, so he was not too happy with his
Okay.
time.
Here
And
we
we
go.
have
All yours.
5 lights, 6 lights, and away we go at San Marino, Imola. And Hugo
Great
gets
start by the Ferrari.
exactly. Hugo gets a really good start, so Tipsy Bob sits right behind him into the braking zone of turn 1, and there is contact at the back. I think NJJ and Cursed are off. Oh no, that's
Oh, huge carnage at the back.
disaster for them. So I'm gonna retire my car right about now and then jump back to the action.
Yeah,
So
as I retired my car, the action happened, man.
yeah, so I think NJJ and Cursed got together in the braking zone in the turn 1. That's what it looked like, and so they are all the way at the back now. Otherwise, so Terra Incognita actually picks up a position because of that. NJJ drops to the back, and Hugo, Tipsy, Thimo, and Terror is the leading pack for this race. Clara actually really right on the back of Terror there, so let's see what he can do.
Yes, still very close to the top.
Yep.
All of them. It's Hugo's Tipsy, Thimo coming through. NJJ also hanging in there. But Terra Incognita all over the back of.
And NJJ goes off again. I think he has. If you look at his car, his rear wing looks very damaged. So I think he's gonna retire
I can
that
assure
Audi.
you,
Oh no.
Tipsy Bob is all over the back of Hugo's and he's looking to make a move very, very soon. That Lamborghini is looking really racy tonight.
Yeah, and NJJ into the pits. I wonder if he's gonna try and continue from there, but he'll be a lap down, unfortunately. Yep. Anyway, we're about to cross the line for the first time. Tipsy Bob right behind Hugo, and let's see if this Lamborghini and the straight line spin is actually enough to challenge Hugo here on the main straight. So Tipsy Bob gets a good run here,
He's going for
2/10, and he's gonna try and get Hugo into turn 1. So that
From
top
the
speed.
outside, it makes the move stick. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. What a move.
So that top speed of that Lamborghini coming into play here. So this is definitely a good track for this car.
Yeah,
And
for
Hugo
sure.
can do absolutely nothing about it.
It's going to be very interesting to see if Hugo's can actually hang on to the back of that Lamborghini.
Yep.
It's a very flat track. It looks really smooth.
Yep.
It's got a nice even flow to it. It's not very bouncy and stuff. It's a very beautiful track.
So there's a little bit of a gap forming behind Thimo. Tipsy, Hugo, and Thimo very close to each other, but Terra Incognita has dropped about 1.3 seconds behind them. And wonder if it's just down to practice, and I just having a look at the back of the race. Cursed struggling there, so I think he might have damage in that Ferrari.
Yeah, Thimo hanging on to the back of Hugo's. I think we might see a move possibly at the end of the straight.
And Cursed
of the main straight.
retires from the session, so very unfortunate. I think his car was wrecked. I looked at him for a little bit and he was really struggling there, so that's really unfortunate for Milos.
On that start, didn't look too good.
And what's happening to Hugo here? He's slowed right down and let Thimo go. I wonder what happened there. So Thimo up to P2 and Hugo, does he have some kind of issues, or what's happening here?
There must be something wrong.
Terra Incognita is now blazing past him.
Terra. Yeah, no, there's something wrong with that Ferrari.
Yeah, try and see if we can see what's the problem, but Hugo has dropped back massively on this lap, so disaster for Hugo, unfortunately, in this race so far. And we don't know what the issue is. Seems to be hanging on to Terror now, so maybe he's managed to fix it, whatever it was. Let's hope so, for the sake of the race. We unfortunately have only 6 drivers left on the track, so that's
It's gonna be a long 35 minutes, but hopefully it'll give us some action.
A little bit of an anticlimax, unfortunately, but we'll try and keep you entertained anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Talk about Chief's amazing P9 today or something.
Yeah, disappointing because we used to be getting P10, you know, but
Yep.
P9 good,
That was for
but
me
P10
today.
better. Well done to you, Mr. Chief. If you can hear us on stream, it was an awesome performance on the back track, which is not easy.
Yeah, I kept it out of the walls. That's
Yeah, same to you, man. Also a good race there.
well, I survived. I didn't keep it out of the walls, unfortunately. But
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot say that, but let's see what I can do tomorrow night in the it's 2
yeah,
SRO
you've
Tier
had
2.
some warm up
Good
now
run
at
there.
least. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right, so Timo is pushing Bob very, very hard at
Yeah,
the moment.
but I think see the Lamborghini just growing that gap on this straight here. So Thimo, if he wants to make a move on Tipsy, he has to be very, very close to the back of that
Yeah,
Lamborghini, because you see that Lamborghini has just
just pulling away on the straight.
3/10, pulling away 3/10 on the straight. So it's gonna be very, very difficult to overtake Tipsy Bob here today, who is actually on a roll here because Tipsy last week in F2 won in Hungary the other race, and he was on the podium yesterday, right? So
Yep.
Tipsy Bob on a roll here, and
Oh, Timo making him trying for the going in, trying to go for the inside on Tipsy Bob, but decides to let him. I think he's lining him up, but
yeah, it's
he's not gonna be able to do it on the straight. That straight line speed of the Lamborghini is just too much. But
yeah,
we'll see.
it's gonna be very difficult to pass Tipsy Bob here, but Timo definitely will give it a go, I think. So
Yeah.
and through Aqua Minerale we go. So looks like that BMW is much better through the corners, but
Yep, for sure. Can definitely see that.
Tipsy Bob is holding on to that lead with the good straight line speed of that what is it, Lamborghini. And I'm
Yeah.
looking to the back here because Hugo has now dropped behind Clara as well. So it
Yeah, something's happening.
yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this. I don't know. I wonder if he has some kind of a technical issue here. It's very unfortunate, of course, for this race because Hugo generally would be one of those guys up there. And
Yeah, I'm looking at Tipsy Bob sitting behind the wheel, coming down that straight in the Lamborghini, and he looks so cool, calm, and collective. He's not even disturbed by that black BMW in his mirrors all the time.
yeah,
He's just so chilled and calm.
Tipsy's had some experience with being chased the last 2 times in F2, and he's managed to keep his head cool, and he has to
Yeah.
do it today again for another 32 minutes if he wants to win this race.
Yeah, if I can see closely through the visor of Timo, I can see teeth. It looks like he's biting on his teeth all the time. I don't. I'm not sure if he's struggling to hold on to the back of that Lamborghini or just praying not to die. Oh
Yeah,
no.
Thimo hanging on to his life here. And Thimo, of course,
Yeah.
if Hugo has some kind of an issue, Thimo has to strike here as well, because he
Yep.
is the closest championship contender to Hugo.
Oh yes.
And
Hugo's has got quite a margin of points. Let me just check up on that quickly.
the 50 points, I think it is. So Hugo is on 162 points and Thimo 163 points and Thimo is on 113. And then we have Mr. Pretorius in P3, but I think Pretorius has committed retire from this league, so unfortunately we're not gonna see him racing today at least. I'm not completely sure about that, but I think so.
Yeah. All right. So we got Hugo's with a 50-point gap, as you said, and
Yep.
the Timo in second place, and then Pretorius in third. But seems like Pretorius is not on the map anymore.
No, and
Don't know what
I
happened to
just
the
had a
guy.
big brain moment here, so I've actually looked at the chat where we have Mr. Trident giving us very good information. Thank you, Trident, and stupid me for not reading it earlier. So Hugo is getting corner cut penalties.
Oh.
That's why he's had to slow down. Yes, of course, and that's how it works in
Okay.
this game. So if you cut the corner, you get a penalty where you have to slow down for I think it is 5 seconds or something like that. You know,
Yeah, that
just
is
lift off the
ridiculous.
throttle for 5 seconds, and that's why
He's
dropped
lost
back.
a lot more than 5 seconds on that.
Yeah, I think he must have got like 2 penalties or something. He's got back ahead of Clara anyway, so
Alright,
that's
love to see him back in the top.
that's the info there.
Alright,
And
thank you very much for that. We are not regular AC racers, so we just do the commentating, you know.
So Kitsune cheering his her her man forward. So
Or like
saying
Chief would put it, his special friend.
go,
No, but
go yeah. So
uh,
go tipsy. Look at him go. So yeah, we're very happy to see Bob up there as well. Thimo is gonna give him a run for his money though. He's only a second down, and so Bob. Of course, the pit stops might be interesting here. So what's gonna happen with those?
yep.
But at the moment, I
Anything
think
can happen
Tipsy
in
has
the
a
pit
pretty
stops,
good.
like we've heard before.
Yep. I think at the moment Tipsy has a pretty good handle on this race.
Yeah, no, he's really putting the hammer down now. Timo's falling back slightly from him.
And it looks like Mr. Incognita is just that tiny bit slower. He's a few tenths of lap of Thimo in this race. And
Yeah, see,
Hugo
Hugo's,
sets the
sorry,
fastest lap of the race there, yeah.
he's now only 3.4 seconds behind Timo. Well, I would keep an eye on that to see if he's actually catching him.
Yep, I think he is because his last lap time was 44.3 and Mr. Terror Incognita's last time was 45.3, so he was a second faster than Terror. And Hugo getting back to that rhythm after those penalties he got. So we'll keep an
So
eye on
Hugo's,
Hugo's pace because he's pulled some magnificent comebacks in the earlier races too.
yeah, I see his fastest lap is almost 1.5 seconds faster than the closest guy to him. So
Yep.
he's putting the hammer down big time. See, this race might still be very interesting
Yeah,
towards the end.
he's about a half a second faster than the guys up leading this race. So
Well,
of course those 2 penalties have dropped him to about 10 seconds away from them, which he will have to somehow get back on track if he wants to get back to that leading battle. But
yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that. And I think that this is pretty much the closest battle now is Thimo
For the
chasing down
lead.
Tipsy Bob. Yep. Timo runs a little bit wide there into what's the corner name? I gotta
I forgot.
cheat. It's Rivazza corner. Yes, of course. That's what it is. And charging down the main straight. And Timo had a bit of a scruffy lap there. He's dropped off by 3/10 or to Tipsy Bob on that lap. And Hugo caught another half a second to Mr. Terror, so he's within 3 seconds now. 2.8 is the gap to Terror Incognita in the battle for P3. And also Popo Gamer we have lost, so it's very unfortunate. We have only 6 drivers on track, I think, and JJ is there as well. He's a lap down, but
Yeah.
it's
So,
a little unfortunate, but we'll see this race to the end anyway. Hopefully, Mr. Bants or whoever is watching, maybe we can attract some racers for the next races again. But
yeah, I was gonna say Mr. Bands, someone we missing tonight, and it is Mr. Bands.
yeah, we're
He would have
missing.
shaked up things a little bit more than what it is tonight.
Yep, and I think we're
He would have
missing like a
definitely been right
bunch
up there in the front.
bunch of cars who should have been here. So Toto is not here today. Danny is not here today. Hagrid. Yeah,
Yeah, we're missing a lot of top drivers.
Ocean Chief as
But
well.
hopefully they'll be back in 2 weeks.
This would have been a
Also,
good opportunity for some good points for Chief as well, but he's chosen to do something else today, so we'll
yeah,
respect that.
unfortunately, some some more important things to attend to.
Yep. Though I've heard that he might have something as a reward for that if he gets it done. So he might have a new wheel incoming. I've heard something like this. We'll see. Maybe he'll.
That ain't gonna make him faster, man.
We'll see. Maybe he's. You never know.
Yeah.
So, what's happening? So Thimo has dropped a little bit back to Tipsy Bob now, so he's been about 3/10 slower on the last 2 laps, and he's about 1.5 seconds down to Tipsy Bob right now. Seems to be closing that gap again on this lap, so maybe Thimo's just had a couple of scruffy laps and he's trying to get back to putting the pressure down on Tipsy.
Ticketsoon saying in chat, Timo is like the annoying mosquito flying your ear on a hot summer night to Tipsy.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So beware, Mr. Bob, there's a mosquito bearing down on you, all around your ears and your neck. Not let him go away.
Let's have a look at Tipsy Bob on board for a couple of laps. Our race leader tackles the slow chicane on top of the hill, charging down toward turn 14, I think it is.
Yeah.
The Rivazza corners 1, and then opens it up to 2, and then get a nice little bit of a scruffy exit for Tipsy, but the goal is to get a good exit to this long pit straight, where right about here there used to be a chicane in the last F1 layout of this track, but for this GT3 series we have a flat out section there instead. Turn 1 is a series of 3 corners. Tipsy Bob manages to make it look pretty easy now, so Thimo's dropped back a little bit again. 1.6 seconds
he's
down.
falling off. Tipsy's just cruising in front while smoking a nice cigar in the cockpit of that
Lamborghini, yeah.
Lamborghini.
Yep, and charging uphill toward the left-hander, that'll turn us again going downhill. And Tipsy getting that Lamborghini nicely into the corners, so toward Aqua Minerale, this is a really difficult braking zone here.
Yeah, Pixel also advised that the reason for him not attending the race, he had some brake pedal issues with his setup.
Unfortunate.
And his pedals apparently moved around under his feet every time braking, and he was struggling to get proper braking pressure down. So yeah, some mechanical issues. But hope to see you back in 2 weeks' time, sir.
Yep. So let's see what I can find. TV1, I think it was. Alright, so Tipsy Bob still leads this race. Thimo 1.5 seconds behind him, so Tipsy's managing to keep that gap pretty well. So we'll see which of them is the first to flick into the pits.
Yeah, I think this is where the whole swing in the race is going to come with the pit stops. Hopefully we're going to get some action and close racing.
Yeah, Thimo's had a really scruffy lap this time around because he's
fallen way off.
He's lost a lot of time. He's almost 3 seconds away now, so I wonder, I kind of missed that. Did he run wide in the final corner or what happened? But it's almost 3 seconds off Tipsy Bob, so we'll see. We're 22 minutes left on the clock, so Tipsy Bob might be looking at the pit stop right about now.
Yeah, coming down almost at the halfway point in the race.
Yep.
It's time for the pit stops and shake things up.
Hugo also in P4. I'm just having a look here, so he's kind of hanging on in that 3-4 seconds to Mr. Incognita and not really catching up to him. So Terror, I think he's kind of found some pace here. He's not really dropped off from Thimo anymore.
Yeah, either that or I think he's pushed too hard on that Ferrari and grind his tires a bit and struggling for some grip maybe. I don't know.
Yep, and wouldn't surprise me. I've been told that Mr. Incognita doesn't really practice a whole lot for these races, and he just shows up. So maybe he's just finding his rhythm here during the race.
It can also be. But I think maybe you reckon an undercut would work?
Honestly, I have no idea about this track, but I think it would always give you some advantage anyway, because I would guess that the fresh tires are going to be quite a lot faster than and I think neither of them still pit, so Tipsy and Thimo cross the line for another lap.
Oh, and Thimo Terra pits.
Terra pits, yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that. This camera angle is horrendous. But see if we can. Oh, now we can actually see his car at least. Or is he gonna stop right
Tipsy
behind this
Bob
post? Of
now
course he is.
3 seconds in the lead.
This sorry, this camera work is horrible. The game isn't really helping me. So Terror
Thimo falling back slightly in the distance.
Terror into the pit. So we'll see what he can do after that pit stop. I would expect these other guys to pit like right about now as well. There is no advantage to hanging out those tires more further than this, I think. So
Terra coming out of the pits now.
yep.
Let's see if the leaders might put this lap around, trying to avoid an undercut.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see Terror's next lap time out of the pit. So we'll see what it is. Tipsy approaching the slow chicane on top of the hill, and then once again charging down toward the Brivazza corners. And I would expect him to dive to the pits this lap, but we'll see
Is
in a
Terra
few
slowing
seconds.
down?
What's happened to
Terra
Thimo?
slowed down.
I think Thimo.
I mean, Thimo. Sorry, Thimo was slowing down big
I
time
think
there.
Thimo must have had a penalty as well, maybe for cutting the chicane. So that's allowed Tipsy Bob to completely run away with this race. He's 10 seconds in the clear now. And
Mr.
Hugo
Bob
is right on the back of Thimo soon. 1.7.
Mr. Bob gets in smooth pits and Thimo pits. Thimo pits. I wonder if he doesn't have another issue there.
No, I think he just got a penalty in the fast chicane and he
Slow
had to
down.
slow down. Yeah. So
Oh
that's what
man,
it
that's
demanded.
unfortunate. If Mr. Bob keeps it together and makes a good clean pit stop, he's gonna win this race by quite a mile.
Sorry about these camera angles. The built-in TV cameras don't
Timo's
really
in the
show
pits.
anything.
I'm gonna see where he comes out, in front or behind Terra. His team. Very interesting to see.
Terror in the last two corners now. Thimo still stopped in the pit, so
Terra passing the entrance now.
Oh, it's a bit of a snap on Terror for the exit of that, and Terror is gonna be very close to Thimo here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Full throttle. He's gonna be right on Thimo's back, I think.
Wow. It's gonna be a race to the corner. It's gonna be a race to the corner. He's taking him. I think that's Team Otis.
Yep. And I think they didn't want to come together there. So Terror, with that penalty from Thimo, has managed to overtake Thimo here as well.
Yeah.
And let's see where Tipsy Bob is there. So I would expect Tipsy and Hugo to pit this lap, really, because I honestly don't see it. So Tipsy might be thinking here, he was still almost up on his personal best this lap, so maybe those tires are not as dead as we think it is. They are. And I wonder if we're gonna see some team orders between the BMWs here for the championship.
I'm looking at them now and I'm waiting for that move. We'll see. To be honest, I think Thimo is the faster guy between the two. And he's
at least today it seems to be.
Yeah.
So I know Terror in his day is very, very good on these, especially in this game or any racing game, to be honest. But Tipsy Bob and Hugo and Clara into the pits. So we'll see where Tipsy comes out.
Oh, Thimo makes a mistake in the chicane again.
He's got another penalty. Oh no.
Oh no, Thimo.
And he has to slow down again. I think he tried to go a bit too fast.
I don't know. I think these penalties are a bit too harsh, man. It actually messes the whole race up. If you make one mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the track limits on this track are also very strict. So Tipsy Bob exits the pits
now.
And Tipsy Bob is well in the clear.
Here comes Terror down the straight.
Yeah, and Terror is gonna take
He actually passes. Whoa.
Yep.
Okay.
So that undercut.
That was not expected.
No, I don't know. That undercut seems to be working quite well. So Terror.
Very powerful.
And Thimo is gonna be well. He gets Clara at least into turn 1, but Thimo runs wide.
He goes wide and Clara goes back past him again. Oh, Thimo having a horrible race all of a sudden.
Yeah. So Thimo's
so good.
Timo's dropped down to P5 from P2.
He's now on the fire from the Audi of is that NJJ?
Yeah, but NJJ is a lap down, so that's not that's not a real battle on track, I guess. But Thimo definitely has his work cut out for him today if he wants to get back to the podium positions here today. He's
Yeah.
how much is it? 9 seconds away from P3 at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite a 8.7 on my clock.
Tipsy Bob in the clear all alone, 9 seconds away.
Mr. Bob having a vacation of a race today in front.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigar, having a big fat tequila, while
And Tipsy Bob
cruising
looks.
down the front.
Tipsy Bob. It'll be his second race win within a week. So he's on a roll
Yeah.
here. Almost a week anyway. It was last week on Friday he won in F2, right? So no, he did actually win after that as well in DMR. I've forgotten about that. So he won in DMR Tier 2 in New Mexico. So Tipsy Bob on a real roll here. It'll be his third win within a week. If he can keep it on track, of course.
I can see Terra sweating in that car. I can actually see how wet his face is through that visor. He is sweating, fighting that car all the way.
45.1 lap time, and Hugo is definitely gonna be a challenge to Terror at the end of this race. So Hugo is only 2.5 seconds away from Terror.
Yeah.
And,
Thimo all over the back of Clara,
yeah.
trying to get that position back.
Thimo having made that
See if we
mistake
can,
a lap ago.
Get some GT3 rockets soon here.
We have unfortunately quite few cars, so if we see some big Yeetich, we'll we'll have like 3 people finish this race. Let's hope not.
Yeah.
So
Thimo thinking about it, goes through the inside.
That's definitely a bit of a dive, but a little bit of contact between them. But Thimo forcing his way through.
Yeah.
And takes back that P4. So Thimo probably is fuming a little bit in that cockpit right now because he's dropped from pretty clear P2 down to P4.
Someone tell Mr. Thimo Brown to calm down. The race is still 13 minutes long.
Yep. But he's got 9 seconds ahead of him now to Hugo, so he's pretty much...
To be honest, I don't think he would be able to catch him. No. Not even if he goes every lap at his best. He's just made too many mistakes which cost him this race.
Unless Hugo gets another penalty or something, so I think Thimo is unfortunately... the positions... Oh, Tipsy has made a mistake somewhere as well. He's only 3 seconds in the clear now. So maybe he picked up another penalty. Or first penalty rather in this race.
Ooh. Mr. Terra Incognita might still win this race.
And Terror sets his best lap of the server, or the session rather.
Oh, Tipsy goes wide again. Oh, he's gone off. Oh, he's gone off and came back onto the track again. He's definitely lost some time over there. Come on, Mr. Bob, keep it together. He's done a brilliant race till now.
Tipsy,
only 12.5 more minutes.
Tipsy's made a couple of mistakes here, and he's pretty much brought the race back alive with that. So Terror is only under 2 seconds away from him now. And Terror actually set his personal best lap time last lap 44.6, and he was faster than Hugo even on that lap. So Tipsy just needs to get his head down and get back to the rhythm now. So, still got that 2 second gap to Terror, so let's see what Bob can do. It seems to be sliding a little bit through the corners now, so I know that Lamborghini isn't the easiest car to drive. And also on this lap he's like 8 tenths down from his personal best, so Tipsy head down, and try and get back to the rhythm.
Yeah, Katsun saying if there's any more hits, there's no more cars left on the track.
Yeah,
which is
well,
quite
right.
true.
Yep.
So let's hope there's no more hits, so we can at least have some action towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and think one of the Mr. Hagrid is right there. I think that's Hagrid commentating. So he said that it's only a race once every 2 weeks, so he has lost interest.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Maybe
maybe it might be an idea to accelerate this end of the season to.
Yeah, every week race.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, it's of course up to the admins to do that.
Yeah,
think about it, but
I think the reason for that is AC takes a lot of practice to get this to perfection. It's not as easy as, I wouldn't say F1 is easy, but it's not as easy as F1 to get used to. This is something different,
Yep.
and it's mostly the same drivers racing in F1, F2, and these type of cars. So for
Yep.
them, it's a lot of grinding that needs to be done in 1 week, which is a lot ask, And I think that's the reason for doing it every 2 weeks, just to allow them a slightly more time to grind.
Yep.
But I mean, I can't, I don't even have time to grind for F1 and F2 in 1 week. It's just too much for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, you're
I
right,
kind
of
of feel
course.
for these guys. So yeah, I think that's the reason for that, Hagrid.
Yep. And of course, the only reason for my comment there is that we would, of course, in the commentators booths, like to see some more cars on track as well. So,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it
So
is what it
hopefully
is.
in two
So,
weeks time. Yeah.
just looking at the lead here, Tipsy Bob has put the hammer down on this lap, so he's 3 tenths up on his personal best in this race, and he's dropped Terror by about a 6 tenths this lap, I think. So he's 2.6 seconds in the clear, and Tipsy tackling the final corner gets a bit of a slide there, but
Yeah,
he's
it's
gonna,
only 2 seconds in the lead now.
yeah. But Tipsy is gonna set his personal best this lap, and I think he just had to get back to the rhythm after his pit stop. Looked like he was struggling a little bit after the pit stop, but he seems to be back to it now. 44.5, and he is the fastest guy of the top three
Yeah.
by a few hundredths of
Uh,
a second to Hugo, but
but look at Hugo. He's closing in on the leaders.
yeah,
He's only well, according to mine, it's
yeah.
only
Hugo was
1.9.
a couple of 100ths of a second slower than Tipsy Bob that lap, but he was definitely faster than Terror Incognita, so it's 1.7 seconds away from Terror and P2 at the moment.
Yeah.
Thimo, Thimo, Timo's had a bit of a frustrating race after his pit stop, so he's down to P4, and he's 10 seconds away from this battle. So unless somebody here up front makes a mistake, I think Thimo is gonna finish in P4. And
Yeah.
the tables
It
have
looks
turned because
pretty.
Thimo was in a very good position to strike versus Hugo here today, but now he's actually behind him again. So
Yeah.
Hugo is looking to extend his lead in the championship after this race as well.
Yeah, for sure. With Timo being one place behind him in P4. But I'm sure the hot favorite for the championship will keep on fighting
Yep.
till it's over.
Tipsy Bob still putting the hammer down this lap, so he's dropped Terror Incognita another couple of tenths this lap. Uh, let's see what
You
the lap
guys
times
looking.
look like across the line. Tipsy 44.7. Terror
Yeah.
Incognita 44.7 as well, a couple of 100ths of a second slower, and
Wow,
Hugo.
44-7 as
So,
well.
so they're completely evenly matched for pace at the moment in the top
Yep.
three.
It seems like Yugos came slightly closer to Ter, but
He's
we'll see.
just at 2 seconds away, but just can't get into touching distance of Terror.
Yeah. Oh, I was almost saying DRS.
Yeah, no DRS in these cars, of course, but
No.
it's, it's a little bit more difficult to overtake in these cars, I would say.
Yeah, especially with the slipstream is not doesn't have that huge effect,
No.
if I'm not mistaken.
Tipsy Bob still hanging onto that lead. He has to do it for another 6.5 minutes. That would be about 4 or 5 laps or something like that. So we'll. Oh! Hugo makes a
Oh, Yugos.
mistake into Aqua Minerale. Runs really wide, and I wonder if he's gonna pick up a penalty for that. He
Yeah, he's
did,
slowing
I
down.
think. Yes, he has to slow down. So oh dear,
Oh
he's gonna.
no.
He must have lost touch to Terror now. So Thimo is he gonna be able to? Still gonna be quite a few seconds away. That's what it looks like. So
Yeah,
Hugo is gonna be safe for now, but
yeah, that's
lost.
what I was saying earlier. One mistake cost you to go wide, and then they hit you with a track penalty as well. It's a bit harsh, man. It messes up your whole race. But anyway,
Yeah, it's
we only raced again.
yeah, and looks like the track limits on this track are a bit harsher than on some of the earlier tracks we've done. And
Yep.
Thimo, I wonder if Thimo picked up a penalty as well, because he's still almost 10 seconds away from Hugo. That's what it looks like. So Thimo was unable to close on Hugo because he's got another penalty himself as well. That's what it looks like to me. 47 seconds.
I didn't see any close battles on track at the moment. It's
No,
all
these
widely
guys,
spread out.
these guys at the front, they're just within one tenth of their lap times are within 1/10 of each other. So Tipsy Bob doing just enough to keep that lead of the race, and we're 5 minutes left on the clock. Right about now. And NJJ, we haven't really talked about NJJ, who put in a good qualifying lap, but it then was involved in some kind of an incident on the starting straight with Mr. Milos Martika, and looked like NJJ stuck with it and pitted to fix his car, and he seems to be slowing down a little bit. Maybe he had a penalty there as well. That's what it looks like. Just when has he run out of fuel, or what's happening here?
Oh no.
He's
Good
no, he's
saying,
going
don't mess
again,
it up.
so maybe he had a penalty. Okay, never mind.
Oh well, the Audi is going really slow. What's happening here?
Yeah, I think he stopped because he had a penalty or something before he had to stop before the line. Serve that.
Oh.
So NJJ, anyway, NJJ has stuck with it, and he's running in P6, and he's gonna get some good points here as long as he can do these last couple of laps. Tipsy Bob crosses the line for another lap. I think we're gonna see another 3 laps in this race if I'm right.
Yeah, pretty much about 1 minute 44. Yeah, I think the third lap would indicate the last lap.
Yep.
Probably
Tipsy
4
Bob
laps max.
45.3 and Terra Incognita 45.4, so they're still within a tenth of each other. And Terror just that tiny bit slower than Tipsy Bob here, and is unable to come any closer to Tipsy. Hugo battling everything he can. He's actually much faster than these guys up front now. He's doing about 6/10 a lap faster than these guys up front, but he's too far back after that penalty, so he's 5 seconds away from Terror, and
Yeah, so unfortunate.
unless the two of them up front are gonna make a mistake, I think Hugo is gonna finish in P3.
Yep. So it will be a second win in the last week, like you said, for Mr. Bob, if he can pull this off.
Yep. And Tipsy Bob has to hang on for another 2 laps.
It seems like Terra slightly came closer.
Yeah, he's maybe been a couple of tenths faster on this lap, but let's see. Tipsy, so we will have another 2 laps because they're about to cross the line.
Tipsy goes wide. I wonder if he's gonna have to slow down for that.
I don't think so, but we'll see, I guess. Terror is really much closer now, 1.7 seconds. So Tipsy is very feeling this pressure here. Tipsy has another 2 laps to go here, and Terra Incognita smells blood, of course. And
yep.
We are still gonna have a race in our hands for the victory of this race. As is pretty traditional in AC races, I've commentated anyway. There is always a battle on the final lap of the race.
Yep. If he makes one mistake now, it's all over for him.
Yeah, and Tipsy is going a little scruffy at the lead, so Terra is 1.6 away.
I wonder if he's getting tired in that car. His arms must be dying.
Yeah. So Kitsune urging Bob forward in the chat. Don't mess it up, Tips. Keep going.
Yeah.
And Triton also saying Bob on a roll.
Laps. Yeah.
They're actually gonna catch up to NJJ's Audi here, maybe. So I hope that will not be something to mess with this race. We'll see.
Thimo's
we're on the penultimate lap of the race.
Close. Yeah, he's coming closer and closer, slowly but surely. The gap is now 1.8.
Yep. Terror is just too far back, so Tipsy has one more lap to hang on to this race win. He can almost smell it, but it's about 4.5 kilometers away from that, and we're about to cross the line and start the final lap of the race here. So Tipsy Bob starts the final lap of the race. We have 26 seconds on the clock, so that means this is definitely last lap of the race.
Is it not when the time's up, he then goes for his last lap?
Yeah, but it's if you're on that lap, that's gonna be the last lap of the race. So.
Okay, alright.
I think so anyway. We're about to find out, I suppose, but
Yeah, I just can't get that right. Oh, Tipsy goes
Oh.
wide again.
A little bit, but think he got away with it.
Yes. Oh, I thought he had to slow down there.
Yep. So leader is on the final lap of the race.
You're right.
And
Terra putting him under huge pressure. One mistake now, and it's all over for him.
And Terra is only a second away now. What was that really so costly? The mistake by Tipsy, and Tipsy runs wide again there. So,
oh, no.
it's all almost going wrong on the final lap here for Tipsy. Tipsy has to hang on to it for a couple of more corners through Aqua Minerale. He survived that, and I think Terra is really gonna have to send it here if he wants to do anything about it. NJJ gets out of the way, and that Audi was a bit close,
what a great
but
drive by Terra though.
and
Terra almost lost it.
Tiny bit out of that.
Yeah, I think he's been giving it all.
Yeah,
he's just been pushing very hard.
He really tried, and we're gonna have almost a photo finish again to the line. And Tipsy Bob looks to have done just enough to win this race. And out of the final corner, charge toward the line, and Tipsy Bob will win at Imola today. It'll be his third victory in different series this week. So Tipsy Bob wins the race. Great drive by him. Terra Incognita after a pretty eventful race for him with finishes in P2. Hugo smacks into him after they've finished. So Hugo finishes in P3 and Thimo in P4. Clara will come home to finish in P5, and NJJ is pretty much already across the line because he was lapped with that, and there we are.
Not a bad race. All the excitement held for last. We almost had a good finish over
good race considering how few people we had, but
yeah, so, not too bad. It seems like Tipsy's going the Alonso way. He wants to win 3 races in 3 different course series. So he's trying to pull off Alonso.
So who wants to talk to us?
Firstly, who do you think will be driver of the day, man?
Well, it's not so many drivers here, but I would definitely. I mean, I'll have to give it to Tipsy Bob. It's been sorry for this word, but a hell of a week for him. He's driven absolutely brilliantly in three different series, F2, F1, and now in GT3 as well, and has won the race. So I mean, for me, it's a pretty easy pick today.
I fully agree with you on that. The other driver that I would have also had in contention was maybe Terra Incognito, but definitely Mr. Bob held it all together in the front under some huge pressure at the last couple of laps and pulled it off. So
Terra would have been a good candidate as well. He did absolutely nothing wrong in this race and finished P2.
He's almost pulled off a win there from nothing.
Yeah.
But I agree with Tipsy, man. I think fair and square.
Yeah.
All yours.
Let's I'm just gonna grab like Terra and Thimo in here and let's talk to them for a bit. Let's do that. Snip. We've got the both of you here, BMW guys. Are you guys up for an interview?
Yeah, I can do an interview. I don't know if Timo's here. He might not be.
Oh, I've dragged him in, but maybe he's not here. So
the big question is he in the mood to speak to us?
He was a little bit upset after that race. He felt like he threw a pretty good finish away.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. So unlucky after this pit stop. So but you had a pretty good race. You were kind of our second candidate for driver of the day. We did end up giving it to Tipsy Bob, but
Yeah, no, that's completely fair enough. I was very, very, very pleased. I did no practice at all, and I only decided to race just before just before the race.
Yep.
Because I've said after 2 weeks ago that I didn't really want to do it anymore.
Yep.
But decided to do it at the last second. It was Imola. It was a track that I liked. So I figured I'd give it a go. And yeah, to my surprise, like during the race, I figured out how to drive the racetrack. I was, in the 44s, which I definitely wasn't expecting.
Yep.
And yeah, like really good pace, really consistent. Just the last lap, I got a slowdown at Variante Alta because I basically yeeted the second part of it to try and get tipsy. But he kept a cool head, and yeah, well done to him.
Almost messed up on the final lap. He was in trouble in the first sector, and you almost you were like within a second there for a while.
Yeah, I saw him sideways in Piratella. I was like, is he cracking under the pressure? But he didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh.
Just enough
Hello,
to.
Mr. Brown. You are
I was
live
gonna
on
come back cursing and so I'm
But yeah, just to finish with Terror, good drive from you. You pretty much did nothing wrong in this race and just collected the points that other guys gave to you. So they made mistakes and you picked up the places. And yeah, I think
the game made mistakes.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the fact that I was able to keep Hugo behind. He was definitely faster than me for the whole race.
Definitely after the pit stops, you seem to have better pace. Maybe that was because you said that you didn't practice and you kind of got the rhythm.
Yeah, no, I definitely got much more familiar with the track and I was able to push a little bit harder. And I was close to being on pace, which was a real surprise because I figured I would be a couple of seconds off at least.
Yep.
But yeah, and I mean, just very happy and pleased with that performance.
Yeah, so you had the complete opposite race than Mr. Thimo Brown. Mr. Brown, you started off well. You were running right up there with Mr. Bob. Even threatened him now and then for the lead, and then all of a sudden everything just fell apart for you. What happened, man?
So basically there's a concept where 0 is more than 0, and therefore after penalty there's only 0 seconds left to serve in your penalty. That is actually more than 0 seconds, so therefore you have to serve it again, and then it happens again, and then you have to. I collected 2 penalties, and I had to serve them 5 times, so I had to slow to half speed for 25 flying seconds, and I am no. This is
it all seemed to go wrong for you after a pit stop, but I think I caught up at least the other bit of that on the stream when you had to because I saw you slow down, then you went again, and then you slow down again. So I figured that's what happened there.
No, this is just ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you've seen I've struggled a ton in past races, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll get something out of this today, because for some reason after 20 or 30 laps I was actually on pace, not my usual 1.5 seconds off everyone. So I thought, hey, this is the race. And then at the race Yugos made mistakes, and so he was gone, and I thought, dude, this is it. And then Tipsy was, he was driving very solidly. So I thought, okay, let's settle for second, even though I wasn't happy with that. I wanted to win after all that time. And then I broke myself on the chicane. And I think I yeeted the inside curb or something. And yeah, because I hadn't ever really had a slowdown, I didn't know that you couldn't go onto the throttle again, and it took me some time to realize that that's what went wrong. I thought I don't know. It's honestly just stupid, and I don't want to have anything to do with this game right now.
We can understand that. I definitely can. I always get very upset about my own failures, but yeah.
I mean, this was partially my own failure, but of course, had I not picked up the slowdown, I wouldn't have, so it's not like I'm saying that I definitely deserved to win there, but I think I should have. I don't say that I deserved it more than Tipsy or Yugos or Terra, but
yeah, but
it was the race I should have won, in my opinion, and I didn't, and I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, we can definitely relate to that, and
no, so
but I guess in the end it is what it is always, but
yeah.
Maybe the next one.
I don't know. The next track is going to be Yoangham, which some might remember as the Formula One track, Korea 2010 to 2012. And I have no experience with that track. I think in Imola I got away with only little practice because I could not do the. I could skip the 25 laps of getting to know what the hell this track is all about and stuff because I drove in 1 week of Formula 3 in iRacing that was in Imola. I drove like 30 races, which were all like 45 minutes. So I've got a lot of experience on that track, but in another car and you can't. And there are also different versions so you don't go quick by doing the same things. Like I can say here in this race, it was all about going on the curves, especially in sector 1 and stuff, and like using them to the fullest. And in iRacing, you use one of those curves and your suspension is broken. So it wasn't like I knew the track in and out, but I was comfortable with the layout. I knew the approach to corners and stuff. So that did certainly helped me cut my needed practice time short, which is probably why I was so competitive in the end. But next week I would have to practice a lot again, and my exams are coming up. So, yeah,
we'll see, I guess.
I don't think I can like practice at all for next race, and after that maybe. Anyways, yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, so thanks guys for the interview. We're still got at least one guy we want to talk to, so
Tipsy, right?
Yep, we're gonna drop you guys off and
thanks guys. Good job with the commentating today.
Yep, okay.
Thank you guys.
See you.
Talk to you guys later.
Guys. Bye.
And I'll get Tipsy Bob in. So Snip, and we're bringing our race winner and also our driver of the day today, Tipsy Bob. Hello.
Hello guys.
So what do you have to say for yourself? You've won 3 races within a week. So what on earth did you eat last week? What's going on?
Well, let me start by thanking our what was I going to say there? Oh yeah, sorry. I was just going to say I want to start by saying what a pleasure it is to be joining the commentator or the interview channel with 2 legends of the racing leagues, Mr. Rice and Mippy.
Okay. Wow.
For me,
I'm all except for that. But anyway.
Well, for me, guys, I was saying to the other guys that I am in absolute pain right now, because I was practicing all day, so I was on Assetto Corsa trying to get up to speed because it takes me longer to get up to speed in Assetto than it does Formula One, right? So I was practicing that, and for whatever way I grabbed the steering wheel, my left thumb, I think I grabbed too tightly with my left hand. My left thumb's killing me. My left bum cheek's killing me as well. It must be my second decision. But anyway, practicing all day, guys. Then I had the Formula One race, mental race, Baku. You all know what Baku's like. And then jumping into this.
Yeah.
I was confident of my pace. And on Hugo's pole position time, I think I've done almost the identical time in the practice lobbies. I think it's pretty much the same, 143.8. So I knew the pace was there. And I also knew that the advantage I would have effectively is the long straights with a Ferrari. I was running a very low wings. I don't know what the other guys are running, but I was running 1.3. Again, I don't know if that's a big revelation or what, but anyway, once
different between the cars as well. But sounds low to me anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are running roughly 1.5s. I think.
Okay.
And so I was testing 1.2 and 1.3 all day, and I realized I can actually keep the car on track. It's a bit of a hassle, but yeah, I'll not keep talking all day, guys. But anyway, whenever I got a good launch off the line, I noticed very, very, very quickly that I could pass Hugo on those bit of straights because I was kept creeping up to him. So I was just waiting my chance to get to the main straight, stick close with him, because if Hugo gets away from you, it's game over. You're not going to catch him. Once I got that main straight and I seen it was almost like I had DRS, guys. I don't know if you got it on the stream.
Yeah, we did, and we saw that you were like 3 or 4 tenths quicker on the main straight alone than those other guys. So that was definitely your weapon today.
Yeah, well, so once I got past him, it was more or less just trying to maintain, grow that. But then Thimo was on my back, and he was keeping up with me, which is kind of annoying. I was like, why is he keeping up with me? Go away. Because I didn't want to push any further. You know, I wanted to make my car last. So whenever I couldn't shake him, I was coming up to the pits and I go, right, it's time to me to really set down some hot laps. And I think I stretched it to about 3 seconds, I think, roughly. And I took a risk, guys. And in terms of my fuel loads, I was confident that I could have enough fuel to get one extra lap. Anyway, went into the pits, came back out, happy days. I think I had a 9 second lead over Terror. But then that's when the issue started for me.
Yep.
And it was more mental, I think. I need to double check. But because whenever I was on after about 2 laps after the pit stops, guys, something dawned on me. And all the practice and setups I done, I didn't allocate the correct tires for my second pit stop,
It looked like you were in softs anyway, so...
Did it? Yeah, that's what I want to go and check, because I was having a mental battle with myself, thinking, am I on the wrong tire? Am I on mediums? And I was almost driving like I was on mediums or running really wide and was missing the brake points. And I dropped away down to about 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
And then I had to slow down as well. I got a penalty where you had to slow the way down.
Yeah,
anyway,
we saw that, yeah.
Anyway, he caught up to me about just under a second, and I thought, hang on. And I held on, guys, and get the win. So I'm over the moon. I didn't think it was going to come. I thought my best chance was Monza last week. But I'm a bit surprised that I got it this week. So happy days, guys. I'm not, in terms of what I'm doing differently, I'm not really doing anything differently, really, guys. It's more what I was saying to Kitty. It's more a mindset thing for me. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I always often say it many times.
No, but you're right. I know what you mean. So.
You sound like a broken record, man.
In 2018, that was a really shit year for me, and 2019 wasn't great either. But as the end of the year was ending, things were just getting better for me, just in my own life. You know, people around me and all are doing better. So this year, it's just I'm almost back to where I was pre 2018. I'm chilled out. I'm happy. Everyone around me is healthy. Everyone's going well, and I'm just enjoying myself, guys. You know, I'm enjoying the vibes, as they say, in 2S and SLR.
And I guess it shows as well.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the company I have in the both leagues. And,
in the beginning of the race, I told Ice that man, I can see him in the cockpit. He's looking so cool, calm, and collective. It seems like he's smoking a cigar with a tequila in the right hand. Just cruising in the front.
That's almost how I felt, to be honest.
An stunning job, man.
Yeah,
at the end, I started getting nervous because I saw you were making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
the final lap, Terror got to within 0.8 or something to you, and yeah.
That was the mental battle, guy.
Yeah,
that was the mental issue I was having, thinking, am I on the right freaking tires? Then I decided, that's it. Look, I'm just going to imagine I'm on softs. That's it.
You were on softs, I think. I just checked the stream, so...
It goes to show you guys how mentally you can screw yourself, you know? Even whenever the first stint, I was completely in control.
Well, look, when the race started, I thought we were going to have quite a boring race because I saw that only 9 drivers actually registered for the race. But
after 2 laps, we lost 2 of them, so...
Yeah. From Yittich in turn 1 to almost a photo finish over the line. To a Thimo Brown being very upset and sweating in the cockpit, to a cruising Tipsy Bob with a sore left thumb and a bum cheek. So it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I'm chuffed, guys. Over the moon. You know, I often used to sit and watch and see these guys like Speedy and all just winning all the time, and then in the set of course of Tara, Hugo and Thimo, I was thinking, oh, another P6 for me or another P8, you know. But now I've got 3 wins and a pole position, and I think I've set fastest lap on the servers on last week and this week as well. I don't know if it's been beaten, and it's like it's a complete turnaround from where I was previously. But I don't think I'm awesome. No, I don't think that. It's just I had a bit of fun, guys, and that's it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to point out, mention, because I don't want to ramble all day here, guys, but I was saying to Chief, Ice, that last night I was lying in my bed with a cup of tea. Think about this, in my bed, cup of tea on my little tablet, and I was watching last night's stream back, Formula 2, I think it was.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It dawned on me. I would argue that you and Chief are up there with probably one of the best commentating pairings out there. In Formula 1, you and Wimpy are very good in Assetto Corsa, But for Formula One, I think you two are absolutely brilliant. Really, just the information you guys give is just quality, and you miss nothing. And there's no, forgive me, there's no bullshit basically in the chat. You know, I know sometimes when I commentate, I like to fool around. That's just the way I am. But you guys, it's really interesting listening to you. You're great chemistry. I would argue you're on level par with Tara and Timo, if not a little bit better. These are
Yeah,
really,
Chief and
really
Ice
Well,
is really good together. I must agree on that.
I'm I don't know. You know, I'm Finnish. I don't know how to.
nice. You're getting complimented here, man.
I
Take
don't know.
it.
Because I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. Thanks.
Just say thank you very much. You're right. I'm
Thank
awesome.
you.
Just say that. Just say
Yeah.
I'm awesome.
Well,
Not me. You. Say I'm awesome.
It's fun. I kind of like doing it. So it's if somebody else likes listening to it, then it's a
Well,
job
I
well done,
love
I
listening
guess.
to it.
I'm happy about that then.
We're gonna have to try and get a bit more confidence and nice.
Well,
yeah,
you know.
no, I know the man. He acts like he's not ready, and then he comes out and wins the race. So I'm used to that. Yeah.
Well.
But
Anyway,
I'll let you
Anyway,
guys.
just to get the stream closed at some point here in the evening. So thanks Tipsy Bob joining us on the
You
view.
guys.
So you're our driver of today and race winner, of course. And Wimpy, do you have anything else we want to say here? So maybe for the next race, I will try and set up you know, some of these graphics as well, because deadpixel here has done a great job and updated the results during the race or at the end of the race straight away. So I would have been able to show the standings and stuff, but I don't know how to do it, so I'm not gonna bother fiddling about it
I
now.
just want to give a shout out to all the 2SRL and SLR guys out there, all the racers, all the admins, all the FA staff, all the main guys, the top guys. You know who you are. Thank you very much. We all make this possible for the community out there, not just for them, but also for ourselves to enjoy and have fun and do what we love in the best possible way we can and allow ourselves to do it. So, yeah, thank you very much for all that. Let's keep it coming, and to all the viewers out there, thank you for viewing always viewing, and Mrs. Kitsun for keeping the chat going.
Yep.
So, yeah, thank you for everybody. If it's not for each and everybody out there involved through all the leagues, nothing of this will be possible. So thank you very much for that. I enjoy myself whether I'm racing, raging, or commentating. It's it's always fun.
And
But yeah, that's
tune
it
in
for me. I'm out.
tune in for some more of that tomorrow in 2SRL
Of
Tier
course.
2 and Tier 1. So Mr. Wimpy here is racing in Tier
Oh god.
2, and Mr. Tipsy Bob and myself are going to be racing in Tier 1 at Baku tomorrow.
Alrighty.
So
See you tomorrow.
we'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks and